winding down. In the what is a head canon for Silver that's not canon?
Okay. To pick one, I would think that since Silver didn't really have much of a father figure growing up, that Chives would be that father figure for him, whether he recognizes it or not.
Mm. Do
We
you?
don't see a lot of Chives, though.
We don't. But do you think even though he orders him around, do you think Chives is really happy with that relationship?
I think Chives gets what he needs to feel fulfilled in the role, where even if he's being ordered around, he knows that there's something more than just employer-employee relationship here. And I think Silver, to a certain level within him, recognizes that too, where
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of, again, not by blood, but still family. But we still treat the relationship like it's employer-employee because we're paying you, but you're family. It's kind of like between siblings where you're siblings, you love each other, but sometimes you just act really nasty towards one another because that's just the way your relationship is.
How
But you do it
professional?
lovingly.
How professional do you think Chives is?
How professional?
You think he'd be just as snappy with Silver? Like, you think he's like the type to be like calling Silver out, or you think just like, yes, sir, right away, sir?
I think at first he would acquiesce, but if he sees Silver acting really out of line or out of character for him, if it's out of character, he would inquire as to why. If he sees Silver acting very shameful or disappointing, he would call Silver out on it, but not in a direct way. It's just, are you sure about that, sir? And really trying to get Silver to question it himself and get Silver to think rather than doing a direct confrontation. Until it came to that point where a direct confrontation is the only way to get through Silver's thick head.
How old do you think Chives is?
If I had to picture 40s, maybe mid 40s to no more than mid 50s.
I was gonna have him like super young, low key.
Oh, really?
I was gonna probably have him like in his 30s or something, like somewhere where Silver was like a kid and Chives was like in his teens or something, but he was
I
like
would say Chives no younger than mid 30s.
yeah, like he was like they found him homeless, like he was a runaway kid, something like that, right?
Yeah.
And they found Chives, and Chives isn't even his real name. but
Yeah.
but they just go by Chives because Silver just heard that name and thought it was funny.
We found this dog and we will name him Chives.
Exactly,
He'll
it's
be
just
known as Chives and next to Chives.
It's just like, can we adopt him type of mentality.
Can we keep him, Daddy? I'll call him Chives. He can be my butler.
And so like it's kind of like that type of mentality. And so like the dad was just like, we'll give you room, board, you just take care of my son type of mentality. And dude was just like,
you have to take care of him.
like, just think about
It's a
that.
huge responsibility having a pet butler.
It's the other way around. Like, you know, just like the goofiness of it. And
I don't know, son. Having a butler is a huge responsibility. Are you sure you're ready for that?
It's so cheesy, but it's like it would make sense for him. And
It
so Chaz would do it because he's like, I don't want to go back with his unknown story, but he would just be a super talented because of his unknown origin. Because it was something like with his years of training in the CIA, etc., that he was able to swim to shore, is what we said when he fell out of the helicopter, right?
Yeah.
So it would be like right before he became homeless, he had that dream. So he would be like in the middle of his 30s or something. Like he had just like a year or something in military that he was just like in the street and they just adopted this man.
Not
So
bad.
yeah. So yeah, he would just be like that. He would just be like a really handsome man. And that Silver doesn't think everyone's yearning for chives, and he's just like, but chives, grab me my drink. And he's like,
I'm
right
a
away,
loyal
sir.
servant.
He's
I
like,
love you, Chives.
he's like, right away, sir. And chives just dedicated to Silver.
That way, sir.
So it's just like, what about chives stories? Like, you don't get one.
You don't really need a full story for him. You can extrapolate everything from the 2 interactions you get.
Yeah, it's just like, no story about chives. It's like, we want
You
more
know
of
all
chives.
you need to know.
You don't need a story about chives. But it'd be kind of funny if everyone's like, I want to see more of chives.
Just make one up. He's in your own head canon now.
Do you think a marriage between him and Arya or him and Layla could work?
I think both could work. I think, especially with the karaoke scene between Arya and Silver, you can see that there is the foundation to have a healthy relationship there that could lead to marriage in time. But you could also see that with Layla, as in, you can have the angle where he likes Layla because she's not after his money, and he finds that very endearing and is a little caught off guard by that interaction. So, either way, I think you can start a relationship that is believable with both girls, and eventually that can lead to marriage in time.
Which one do you think would be the better alternative if it wasn't Serenity?
Okay, the better choice that's not Serenity. That is an interesting thing about Silver, is that all 3 could work, huh? That's a great
Exactly,
thing.
which makes it
Yeah,
hard for me to decide. I was like, who should Layla end up
yeah.
with? I'm just
I
like,
could
dang,
see Serenity. I could see Arya. I could see Layla. Yeah.
it's not even who should Arya end up with. It's like, who should I let Layla end up with?
Yeah. Who should Silver get? What is Silver's? Let's choose for him. Serenity, number 1. Absolutely. Between Arya and Layla, though. I'm going to go with Layla, and I could see Arya being his psychiatrist or psychologist. Yeah, psychiatrist in that dynamic. I could see Silver getting a lot of psychological help through his trauma through Arya, much that I could see with Damien too if their relationship wasn't romantic. That is a very interesting question. I think a platonic relationship with Arya is very much possible, and a romantic relationship with Layla is also very much possible. I could also see the alternate reality where Silver marries Layla, seeks professional help, meets Arya, and kind of gets a little infidelity with Arya. Kind of like when you get it on with your secretary behind your wife's back. But it's entirely possible for either of them. I would say romantic for Layla, platonic for Arya.
I find it so funny how Arya is usually the last option. This was a game about her, and she's always the last pick.
not for me. For Damien, Arya is my first pick.
But I'm just saying, like she literally does only have like the 2 leads for her. Like everyone else, they're
Damien
just
and
like,
Ethan are 2 number 1 picks when it comes to Arya, and I think that's just kind of how it should be.
It really is though, but like everyone else is just like Layla or Serenity.
I think that's an accomplishment in the writing that the 2 main leads would be the number 1 choice for the main character, whereas Silver, Michelangelo, Ty, and Tanner are constantly shipped with either Serenity or Layla. I think that's an accomplishment that you could make it where that's the common consensus across the board.
You think so?
I do.
I just think it's so funny though, because you would think Arya should be shipped with all of them, but like everyone's just like, you know, Arya, you know, maybe just Ethan and Damien. You know what? Damien could be shipped with Layla. You know what? Damien
You can make an argument for anybody with anybody, but you can
Yeah,
make stronger arguments for certain ships. And I think
yeah,
that's good that you can reach an agreement.
yeah. This is so funny. Ethan, honestly, I'm gonna love hearing Ethan's take on who he should end up with. Because I literally don't really know Ethan's route like
Oh man.
that.
I want to hear Cooper's input. I
Me
really
too.
do.
I really do too. I'm like, yo, yours is the one I know least about because yours is so long. It's the
Oh,
hardest one
I
to get
can't wait
through.
to watch that.
So, but yeah, like Layla is shipped with literally everybody. Serenity is shipped with basically everybody. And Arya is only shipped with the two guys. It's just
Yeah.
so funny. So I was just like, and even then, they're like, maybe not even Damon, just maybe Ethan. I was just like, y'all saw me contemplating. That's so funny. Okay, what do you think his relationship between his older brother is like? King Carrot.
Competitive.
King Carrot.
I would say this is not a loving brother relationship like the Hawkins boys.
Yeah.
This is more of a competitive relationship where it is not professional. It
Yeah.
is respectable.
Uh-huh.
They respect one another, but they are competitive towards one another. They're not going to undermine each other beyond business decisions, of course. They're not going to sabotage one another directly, but they are going to try to outsly, outmaneuver, and use cunning tactics to outclass the other brother. But it is, to them, just good business.
Yeah, that's literally how I planned on writing them, is that they would work together, but they would always be trying to one up each other. It's just like they are always
even in
trying
a cooperative, collaborative project, it's still co-opetitive.
Literally, like they are working on a project together, but they are still always gonna be like, but it was my idea.
I want to be first on the billet. Yeah.
Exactly. It's like, it's my name first. It's like, oh, it's like their names side by side. It's like, nope, it can't even be up or down. It's just like, whose name is first? It's just like, they have to decide whose name is gonna be first.
Left to right, top to bottom. I better be the first thing that the eyes fall upon.
Exactly. They just have to. They can't even use the last name because they have different last names.
Oh yeah.
It's so funny.
Beautiful.
Yeah. What is his strength and weakness, Silver?
I thought about this for a while, and I want to say that my answer is the same for both. It's the defense mechanism of putting your money up front. I thought of this as a weakness because you're giving the person who wants your money exactly what they want immediately without any sort of resistance. But then I also thought this can be a strength because let's say you let someone into your circle who just wants your money, and over time they end up getting, say, $5,000 from you. If you're with your money up front and they only get $500 from you, but you've outed them for what they are, you have potentially come ahead by losing less than you would have had you trusted them immediately. So my first thought was that his weakness was he gives you exactly what you want immediately, but then his strength is he gives you exactly what you want immediately and comes out better for it. So I would say his strength is he does have a defense mechanism that seems to work in its intended purpose of finding out who just wants his money as opposed to who wants silver for silver. His weakness is, if I'm not going to give the same answer for weakness, is going to be that he probably burns a lot of bridges preemptively because he makes preconceived notions about what the other person wants when it could have been something more genuine had it been given the time to grow, flourish, and be nurtured.
Why do you think that is, though?
What exactly?
Like, why do you think he automatically thinks it's money?
I think he sees like we talked about when why does he think that money talks? Is that he sees this in the environment in which he grew up, that people can be bought and sold with a price, that he perceives everyone else's perception as money is everything, and people are coming for money first because he sees that in his family where people in his life are taken advantage of because they have lots of money. I've seen that a lot in my personal relationships, both family and friends, that because they have money, people are gravitating towards them until the money runs out, then everyone just leaves, like fair weather friends. So I could definitely see the angle that he just has a preconceived notion. They want my money. If I give them the money immediately and they take it without a second thought, I know who just wants my money.
Yeah. Honestly, that's kind of why I written his character like that. Because, like, a lot of people always say, it's like, the minute you lose your money, you lose your friends.
Yeah,
So,
that is
yeah.
actually a thing.
Yeah.
And I think he takes that to heart.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny to see that. It's not something that we were able to show off because it's not like we were able to show these characters in a bad light, but it'd be kind of crazy to see if we had those type of characters, like side characters who wouldn't
Yeah,
see. Yeah, so
less
I mean,
important characters or unnamed characters, yeah.
yeah, who would just be like, oh, well, he doesn't have money or give us money anymore, therefore we won't see him. So it would be kind of interesting to show off if that was the case.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, what is more you want to see from Silver?
More I want to see from Silver would be interactions like that of people actually trying to take advantage of him for his money so that we can see that his preconceived notion of that being the case is not unwarranted. We have firsthand proof that that is a thing that happens.
And your final thoughts on the character?
I love this character because he subverts the spoiled brat trope archetype stock character. He is spoiled. He's not afraid to tell you that he's spoiled. He is aware that he's spoiled, but he's not a spoiled brat. And I think that's a very important distinction to make.
Why don't you think he's a spoiled brat though?
He doesn't throw a tantrum when he doesn't get his way. He puts forth that business mindset of let's turn this around. How do we convert this no into a yes? I've met a lot of people that were never told no in their lives, and when they're told no, they pitch a fit. So I'm glad that this character doesn't do that. So he has a lot more emotional maturity in that sense. Maybe not be emotionally aware because he does make decisions based on things that I think he himself does not recognize, but he doesn't fit in that box of spoiled brat who won't take no for an answer with a bad attitude.
I see. Yeah, I didn't even think of it that way. I think it's just because when we wrote this in a more non-high school angle where we weren't thinking
Yeah.
of like, you know, in high school you usually think of how it's usually like people don't talk things out, and in this game it was basically talking things out, so you were able to really flesh some stuff out.
Because you have it was a strategy for getting a job. I think I read this. Or it was a testimonial from somebody where when they were turned down for a job, they didn't just get mad over the loss. They asked the person who interviewed them, "Why did you turn me down?" And they tried to work on the weaknesses that were presented through them through feedback. And I feel like Silver would take that approach of if he did not get a job or if he failed at something, he would learn why it went wrong and take the necessary steps to bolster that. And in that sense, Silver strikes me as the kind of person who is not a sore loser. He can be happy when someone else wins. Because to be a good loser, you have to let other people win when they win. You have to let them enjoy the victory. I feel like Silver could do that.
Yeah, I think he can too. I think that's part of his charm is that he's not a sore loser because part of
Exactly.
business is taking a loss. Like there is profit and gain. So and he knows that. So that's just something that he learned part of when doing investments.
Yeah.
That there's always gonna
He's
be
not
gain.
afraid of failure.
Exactly.
He does not see failure as a bad thing. He sees failure as a learning opportunity, like Dark Souls.
So.
Dying is a feature. Dying is a mechanic. It is not a punishment.
Exactly.
It is a mechanic.
Yeah. Anywho, thank you very much for this interview.
Thank you very much for having me. This was fun.
It was quite. And this is the end, not the beginning.
But Matt Beckius, thank you very much for a wonderful performance. Thank you everyone on the cast for an amazing, memorable performance. It's been wonderful working with you guys.
Yes, hopefully we could return or continue in some shape or way, maybe in a different way or expanding on this. But for now, I just gotta do so much editing.
Good luck.
I appreciate it. Anywho, with that being said, this is JJB signing out. Bye bye.